Loki Beatdown coming at you. 2026. Paul Shaughnessy, Cody Safdie, breaking down UFC 324 after an extended holiday. But we've been, we always have it's a holiday season. You got lots of different things on the go. You got family stuff. So it's like, I know a lot of people are like, I'm dying from this break. It's just like, I feel like I got my fill of MMA over the last little bit. But, star-studded cast for UFC 324. Then we got UFC 325 next week. They're rolling out the big guns, I guess, to start 2026. New deal, Paramount Plus. It's like when you have like a new girlfriend or something like that. You're on your best behavior. You go, you meet their parents. It's handshakes and yes, sir, and no, sir. And then a few years into it, those types of tendencies, you start getting a little bit annoyed by them. I feel like that's what happened with the ESPN Plus deal at the end. Paramount Plus, it's going to be awesome for this first year and a bit. And then things get tumultuous. It's just like any relationship, whether it's a human relationship, business relationship. I'd expect the first 6 months of this Paramount Plus deal to be absolute bonkers and awesome. They're going to put their best foot forward. And we'll be here breaking down every single one of them. Cody, how was your holidays?
Yeah, good. Like you said, it's the honeymoon stage for the UFC and Paramount. You're going out, you're wearing a shirt, you're ironing that shirt. You maybe even put on a tie. You open the door for her, and there's no way am I going to fart in this person's presence, right? By the 3-month mark, we're back to UFC Vegas at the Apex 100 meta Apex 148. That's the equivalent to you're taking a shit now with the door open and you're like, this is where we're at, honey. This is where we're at. But this is an awesome card, and I think it's got a little bit of everything. It's unfortunate that the Kayla Harrison fight versus Amanda Nunes got canceled simply because there's a little bit of something for everything. You got a championship women's fight. You got a championship men's fight. You've got heavyweights. You've got top prospects like Ateba Gautier. You've got, it's really star-studded. So yeah, that's the biggest thing. The UFC takes a 6-week break and there's regional shows going on. There's LFA shows going on that are damn near as good as some of these undercards for certain Apex events. Like, it's not like I missed my fill, but it's knowing that this carrot was at the end of the road, that in 6 weeks, it's not just the UFC's returning. It's an unbelievable card. And I think there's a lot of expectation for Paramount. They're going to get a lot of new subscribers. It's people that are exposed to the product for the very first time. You want to be looking good in that shirt and tie. So yeah, I expect the production to look good, the fights to hopefully deliver. We just got to deliver and make a little bit of money, Paul Shaughnessy. So let's jump back into it, brother.
Yes, sir. All right. Main event. We got Paddy, the baddie Pimblett, taking on Justin Gaethje for the interim. I guess Ilya's got some sort of, wifey problems. I don't want to get into it. I've read some reports, stuff like that. But he's probably on the shelf until June. So they were just like, let's try to get a belt on Paddy Pimblett. Big star, makes sense. New Paramount Plus deal. And here's how I kind of look at Paddy now. I have famously lost money fading this guy. Because, you watch tape, and especially coming off of, Cage Wars and some of those earlier fights, and, even, getting rocked a bit against Rodrigo Vargas, he's had some ugly spots. Jared Gordon, that decision was super, super ugly. Very, very possible. A lot of people, frankly, scored it for Jared Gordon. Most people, except for the 2 of the 3 people cage side, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. But what it really comes down to is as he's been getting older, now he's got 2 kids. My thoughts on him now is he's Drickus. Everything on tape looks bad. Yeah. His striking looks awkward and and crazy. But if we learned anything from the Chandler fight last time out, and now Chandler's been through wars, yada yada yada. But it's he still landed on that ugly looking jumping knee. His cardio looks like it 100% checks out. Striking's never going to be great. And at the end of the day, as he said, and we'll find out because Justin Gaethje is going to test it, Scousers don't get knocked out. So I find myself leaning towards Paddy Pimblett. On the money line, I haven't got to it. I did take Paddy by sub plus 185. There's only a couple places out there with that number right now. It's getting shorter and shorter as the days go by. So if you're Paddy, like, he's not a great wrestler. That's where he wants to fight, I would imagine. Could be a club in some type of situation. I think over the course of 5 rounds, at some point, he's going to get it to the ground and work his magic from there. It could end up in a ground and pound situation like it did against Chandler. Don't get me wrong. It's gambling for a reason, but that's where I'm at with the main event. I think Pimblett's made such improvements in his lifestyle. I think you don't see him really ballooning up as much in between fights anymore. Yeah, he's serious now. So a Pimblett by sub so they can set up Ilya versus Pimblett because they got bad beef from, way back when. Where are you at with this one?
Yeah, you know what? When it comes down to price, I end up going with Justin Gaethje. Underdog play, the plus money's there on him. When you're talking about backing a guy that's going to fight for your dollar and give you everything he's got, then Justin Gaethje's that guy. So if I can get plus money associated with him, then I'm already interested. But really, it's like we all buy into the hype. We're all guilty of it. Everyone's guilty of it. That you get a good-looking prospect and he talks well on the microphone and he delivers, and these performances are entertaining. There's flaws in them, but he's entertaining. So you look past it and you get to a point where you're now disrespecting the other guys. The UFC knows what they're doing here. They've got the number 155er in the world is Islam Makhachev, but he moved out of the division. He's gone. So now we bring up Ilya Topuria, but his wife's taking half of his shit, man, which is never good. You never want to see that. But he's tied up until June this summer, like Paul says. So now we've got the rest of the division. And a guy like Justin Gaethje has fought the rest of the division. He very much is. If you're going to make some phony interim 155 title, Justin Gaethje's earned the right to fight for that title. The other guys are Arman Tsarukyan, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. Paddy's not had to fight any of those guys.
No.
He's had the easiest run to a theoretical title fight in that he's coming off a win over Michael Chandler, who I think most people would consider never really performed at the highest level in the UFC and is a bit of an older fighter. Guy's clearly in awesome shape and is still doing his thing, but it's a Michael Chandler win, a Bobby Green win, a Tony Ferguson win, a Jared Gordon robbery. You look at fights with Rodrigo Vargas where he drops him, not drops him, but he gets like 2 minutes of control time from the top. Weird. Luigi Vendramini kind of does drop him. He catches him with a clean left hook, right? Topples him over. Some of these fights in Cage Warriors, Nad Narimani, that's at 145. Nad easily outmuscles him. Moves up to 155. Soren Beck easily outmuscles him. There's a lot of flaws there, and yet this guy's now at the top of the mountain. He did not have to fight Arman. He did not have to fight Gaethje yet. He didn't have to fight Charles Oliveira. He didn't have to fight what's considered the upper echelon. He's just going from number 6 to a title fight. So that's them selling you. And I just don't know that he's as proven. Now, people will say, dude, this guy's huge. He's huge for this division. He's 5'10". Justin Gaethje's 5'11". He's got a 3-inch reach advantage on Justin Gaethje, but does he want to strike for a prolonged period of time? Does he want to get hit? As far as the grappling goes, he's a better grappler, and I think we can all agree on that point. He's better jiu-jitsu, better grappler. If he does get him down, Paul's mentioning the Pimblett by submission prop. I see it, man. And when you watch Gaethje training positions, all the training positions is he's starting in submissions and trying to get out of them. They know what's coming for them, and it's entirely possible that Pimblett snatches something up. It is. On the other hand, maybe he's not able to take him down as easy. Maybe he's not able to really get that grappling going. Now, are you going to dog walk Justin Gaethje? Are you going to come forward on him? Is that something that's going to work for 25 minutes? Paul mentioned this guy's got cardio for days. Possibly. You go back to the Tony Ferguson fight. He's absolutely cooked out of gas after 3 rounds. You know, Bobby Green's a first-round finish. Michael Chandler takes him out in the third. I'm not
Chandler
taking
gas
anything away
looked
from
good,
him.
man.
Yeah,
Chandler
you're
fight,
right.
the gas looked good. He looked like he had plenty of more time, or plenty more in the tank. And that was what, a 3rd-round finish?
When he's Paddy the Batty, why not have a second serving of that spaghetti? Why not have a little garlic bread on the side? But now he's Paddy the Daddy. He needs to make that money for them 2 kids. And so, no, I do agree with your point. He comes up in career best shape, even though he's an inch shorter than Justin Gaethje. I'm going to admit, Paddy's a big guy for the weight class. If he can force his game and get on top of Justin Gaethje, he's live to win this. My mind, though, closer to an even money fight. If you can't get this fight to the ground, Gaethje's got proven durability, proven cardio, proven striking, fought all the best guys in the division, really did earn his way. And this is like, I don't know, realistically, the number 4 guy in the world versus the number 7 guy in the world. And now it should have been a BMF title, not a lightweight world championship, but they didn't want to tie up the division, and Paramount's in town and we want to make some money and this sells. So we're going to sell it. And that's what they're doing. I just don't want to be a buyer on a bad price tag on Paddy Pimblett because he's everybody loves him, and myself included. And I want to overpay. So on a card that I agree with a lot of these favorites, these lines have been out for 6 weeks. They've been steamed. Everything's sitting basically where it should be. No one's too high. No one's too low. Other than, in my opinion, Paddy Pimblett's too high. I don't have a ton of underdogs, but Justin Gaethje's one of them. He'll fight for everything he's got. He'll give me his best of his abilities. That's all I can ask for. Give me some plus money there, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, on the money line, I don't have too much of an appetite for jumping in on that money line on Paddy Pimblett right now. I feel like unless he snatches up something super, super early, it's very, very possible he's down a couple rounds before he figures out, how to get to the hips, how to create a moment. The money line doesn't seem great to me. All I have on it is the sub. We got Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Song Yadong. Sugar Sean, a -200 favorite to come back on. Song is +170. Who you got here?
I have trouble getting a good read on this one because you watch it from a style clash perspective. And yeah, I mean, if Song Yadong's not really going to wrestle all that much, he's going to strike with Sean O'Malley. That plays into O'Malley's wheelhouse. He's longer, he's very accurate, and he's capable of keeping up a high volume. So Song Yadong doesn't move his head a ton. Not that he's got bad head movement. He does absorb a lot of jabs, especially from these longer guys from the outside. And O'Malley at his best, probably just sharpshoot this guy. It's a 3-round fight, not a 5. And Song Yadong at times, because he's very durable and he's capable of really starting to pour it on later, it's a bit of a slow starter at times. You saw Henry Cejudo, a much shorter man, give him some initial problems early. Then he starts to pick up his beat. He's got a ton of pro fights. He's over 30 pro fight veteran, fighting in the UFC for a long time. He's not old, but he's a bit of a savvy veteran that takes a second to get going. So if Sean can kind of rack up the first 2 rounds, high volume, use his footwork, use that length, then he gets to him. The problem, and this is just purely narrative on my side from speculation, is that it hurts a lot more to get punched in the face when you're rich. And Sean O'Malley kind of seems like he's talking about, this is my last year in the UFC, talking about retirement, has a Lamborghini sitting in his garage, has a successful podcast, has a successful clothing line, is someone that's making money on the side, has a bunch of rich celebrity friends, has a big mansion, has a wife that's apparently cool with him doing whatever the hell he wants. Arizona is a great place to live too. It's not that expensive and it's beautiful, right? I don't know that he really wants to get into like a gritty war. And the thing with Song Yadong is that's what he's bringing for you, man. He's not at no point going away. If you want to knock him out, good luck trying. Although it's MMA, of course, anything's possible. O'Malley hits like a tank. Is this guy similar to a Chito Vera? Similar to guys that were dogs on a bone that really came forward on Sean? Is eventually even Chris Moutinho had moments of success simply from just walking through these shots. Song can do it. I just think that he's going to give up the first round finding the timing. Second round will be close and competitive. Third round, it's too little too late. I do think Sean O'Malley wins. If Sean shows up like first time he fought Merab, he was well prepared for that fight. He gave him a hell of a go. Second time he fights Merab, you could kind of see like he's not making improvements. He's got a bunch of money. He's enjoying his life, and he wants to. This is the winner in MMA. A winner is not a Kamaru Usman or a Anderson Silva that fights way too long. Usman's a bad example; he's still winning, but if a Leon Edwards wants to fight 10 more fights, now you're getting out of the game with a bit of money and a whole lot of damage. The game is get in, get paid, get out. He did exactly that. So if it comes down to it's 1-1 going into the third, I don't know that I love him to bite down the way he would have maybe a couple years ago. And so do I want to pay the price tag? But yeah, I am. I do actually have Sugar Sean. Again, the length, the speed, the accuracy, and the slow start, the presumable slow start from Song Yadong. Hopefully get it done for him. But I don't feel great about it, Paul.
Yeah, the 5-inch reach advantage is kind of where I lean towards O'Malley. I think O'Malley by decision. I don't really have too much to add to what you said. Just kind of going back and watching the tape on, the good times for O'Malley. Song Yadong, if you watch him and Faber, posting videos on Embedded and stuff this week, it's all grappling. That's what they're doing. And, we've seen, obviously, that can be exploited. That's exploited against Marab, Like, that's like one of the best spam artists for wrestling of all time. And O'Malley's still able to get up. So I'm sure Song has put in a lot of work in that department of his game, but so many of his fights, it's like it turns into a striking affair on the feet. And I think that 5-inch reach advantage, O'Malley's just going to kind of mind his P's and Q's. Could be kind of a boring fight. And nothing fancy or exciting about it. Gun to my head. If I were to make a bet, I haven't made a bet, be O'Malley by decision at like just slight plus money, plus 110 or whatever. Next one. My balls are hotter for this next one, Cody. We got Waldo Cortes-Acosta taking on Derrick Black Beast Lewis. Waldo minus 330 favorite to come back on Lewis, plus 270. I'm not going to waste your time. Not going to overthink this one. Is it going to make or break my 2026? No, but like plus 400, plus 406. Lewis by KO. It's just more of a system play at this point in his career. He's 41. Yes, he's. I think he's given up certain skills and abilities, but he's got the one thing that he's got the game changer, right? In Derrick Lewis. If he lands one big, heavy one, it's curtains. So do I think more often than not Waldo wins? Yes. What do I think the best bet on this fight is? Lewis by KO. Because if he wins, it's going to be he lands, and whether it's a somewhat early stoppage like it would have been, like it was against Deiveson Teixeira, doesn't really matter. And 41 years old, a little bit slower. Obviously, the grappling isn't great for Lewis. It all doesn't really matter. Once he gets in there, I feel like you're looking at like a 70-30, maybe even 60-40 type of situation. Lewis either lands, whether he's 41 or not, power's the last thing to go, or he doesn't. So I got a little bit on Lewis by KO. Where are you at with this one?
Yeah, I kind of went the other way, but you know how we make picks on every single fight, but the bottom line is some of those you can pass on. And when you look at a money line perspective, and that's kind of what we're breaking down here to start off, from a money line perspective, yeah, this is a heavyweight fight. It's a Derrick Lewis fight. So why would you pay a 300 price tag on Waldo Cortes-Acosta? Don't love it. The other thing is that Waldo's former pro boxer, and he's got a 78 reach and 78-inch reach, and he's got a good jab on him, and he kind of decent footwork for the division and floats out there. But when he fights these pure power puncher guys, he tends to get a little bit hesitant. You saw him against Sergey Pavlovich, so worried. Sergey didn't take him down, but Sergey's trying to nuke him with these big overhand rights that he gets reduced to just sitting there and waiting. The fight with Ante, it's an eye poke, but Ante barrages forward, causes him to shell up. You're talking about early stoppages. Visually, Derrick Lewis is throwing bombs. You're shelling up against the cage. They're going to wave this thing off. Deiveson Teixeira fight, it was an early stoppage. You and I both had Derrick Lewis in that spot, plus money underdog on the money line, and Lewis by KO is always on the table. You had money on it. I had money on it. Jason Herzog had money on it. And everybody won that night except for Deiveson Teixeira, who was getting back up to his feet. Doesn't matter. When I talked about earlier, I got Justin Gaethje. Well, when you can get Gaethje at plus money, it's never a bad thing because you got a chance. He's going to give you a chance to cash this thing. Lewis on a plus money ticket, especially you want to go as far as KO, that's the logical line of thinking here. Even though Waldo's never been knocked out in MMA, he has been finished in pro boxing. And with Derrick Lewis 4 ounce gloves on, doesn't matter if he's 41. If he hits you, it's going to be a big issue. To me, though, it's that Waldo is more of a volume over 3 rounds, and Lewis is a knock you out right away in that first round. And if I'm holding a Lewis ticket and he doesn't get it done early, I do have a feeling that jab is going to present problems. Lewis has actually got a 79-inch reach, 1 inch longer, but Lewis throws big looping hooks. He's very explosive, and at 41,
uppercuts.
His cardio's never been great, and he relies exclusively on exploding, big explosive movements. So a guy like Waldo has been very active. He's fighting all the time. He wears the eye patch now. It's a good little gimmick. And he's getting a very winnable fight that would do wonders for him. I don't like this price tag. So I'm not going to have a ton of exposure on Waldo. However, for PRP purposes, I do have him. He's going to end up on there.
Okay. We got Natalia Silva taking on Rose Namajunas. Silva minus 350 favorite to come back on Rose plus 285. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is what the UFC did a good job of, is that they know they got this Paramount deal, and it's not enough to say we've got excellent fights, but who are these guys? So they really had to bring in the name brand. And although I have Gaethje, if Gaethje gets choked out by Paddy Pimblett in the first round, the talk will be, is Gaethje done? And the talk here with Derrick Lewis at 41, and the talk with Sean O'Malley, not that he's old or washed or anything, is that he himself is saying, I'm close to being done, is that there's a lot of these name fighters that I just can't trust. And Rose would be exactly that. At 115 pounds, she's a former world champion. She's awesome. She can wrestle. She's got excellent striking. She's very unorthodox, good setups, good footwork, good angles, can fight 25 minutes, good durability. She's got all those intangibles. At 125, especially the older that she gets, she's just not that physically strong. So she'll come up short on a lot of these takedowns. She'll not engage and not throw a 3, 4, 5 punch combination, be a little short on the head kicks. And what she relies on is pure veteran savvy. Just do a little bit more than you're doing, and she can edge it out. That last fight with Miranda Maverick, I had a Rose ticket on it, and I thought this was going to be a walk in the park. Not that I don't like Miranda Maverick, but there's levels to this game, and I've got a former multiple-time world champion here in Rose Namajunas taking on a gatekeeper top 10 type in Miranda Maverick. And Miranda gave her everything she could handle. Rose ends up edging it, but it was tough. The fight with Erin Blanchfield, and Blanchfield's a top prospect, but she can't get anything going. Fights with Amanda Hebus were close. Fights with Manon Fiorot and Carlos Esparza, there's not a whole lot going on. None of these fights she's getting washed in. None of these fights she's winning by a large margin. She looked good against Tracy Cortez. Tracy Cortez is not exactly a world beater either. So even though she's only 33, it doesn't sound old for someone who's been around the game as long as she has. I don't know that Rose is at her highest levels, whereas Natalia Silva's done nothing but impress me. She shows 92% takedown defense in the UFC, right? The only girls who take her down is Viviane Arroyo, who got her down for 30 seconds, and Teresa Bleda. Teresa Bleda is super big and strong. Went 1 for 7 with 30 seconds of control time, and against Viviane Arroyo, 1 for 9 with 30 seconds of control time. So if Rose is one of her best weapons in keeping these fights close, is scoring those takedowns, nothing's happening. You land a punch, I land a punch. You go jab, I go low kick, you go high kick, but I can secure a quick little takedown with a minute and a half left. That's the veteran savvy in her. With taking that off the table, that she maybe doesn't get these takedowns against Natalia Silva, I think they're going to be more prolonged striking exchanges where Natalia throws more, seems to be a little more just fresh at this point in her career. That last one against Alexa Grasso, another former champion at 125, looked good. Her fight with Jessica Andrade prior to that, 117 significant strikes, standing and trading with Jessica Andrade with no worry in it. Her fight with Jasmine Jasudavicius way back in the day. Jasmine's physical. Jasmine's gritty. Natalia's always impressed me, and I think this is kind of not passing of the torch, but it's a really good logical fight for Natalia to then set her up for a title fight, a former champion like Rose. So I do have Silva to get the job done by a unanimous decision.
Yeah, I don't have much to add there. I was hoping, like when I was doing the tape before props were dropped, that like I would get like maybe something more than plus 500 on like a Silva knockout, but I think the best on market right now is like plus 400. I'm not going to force anything there. I think decision is far more likely. I think it just really comes down to speed. I don't know if Rose is going to be able to get the wrestling going, and on the feet, there's really nobody quicker, man or woman, really out there than Natalia Silva. Like she's just really, really hard to hit, and unleashes, her strikes in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 punch combinations. Like
Overwhelms you.
It's overwhelming. I really struggled to see Rose, especially Rose at this stage in her career, to keep up. Arnold Allen takes on Jean Silva. Jean Silva is a minus 250 favorite to come back on Allen, plus 210. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so the great thing about a UFC card as opposed to a random regional promotion is sometimes you'll see who's fighting on the regional promote. Most of the time, you'll know a guy or two, but there's 7 or 8 of these guys that you really got to look up. That's how you base your opinion. On a UFC fight, the second you see it announced, your brain tells you, I think this guy's going to win. But you still do the tape research anyways. And then you start to feel a different way, or you still start to feel unhesitant. This fight got announced. I'm loading up John Silva. Hell, I still might load up John Silva. Then you watch back the performances, and the feeling that you remember in your head is oh yeah, he just iced another guy and he's barking like a dog and he's crashing forward, and this guy's he's young and he's got a big amount of power. He's got a hell of a chin and he's just wired differently. But in actuality, a lot of these fights he's getting outworked in. He's spending way too much time dapping this guy up and smiling and having a good time. They're really competitive. His fight in Contender Series versus Kevin Vallejos is competitive. His fight with Charles Jourdain, he does knock him out and looks good. I mean, he got taken down twice by a featherweight Jourdain. His fight with Drew Dober, he's getting outlanded. It's very competitive. Dober stings him on a couple occasions, and it's a cut stoppage. He's winning the fight at that point anyways. He would have wanted maybe a decision, but a close decision that he's, by the numbers, getting outstruck 59-53 on the significance. His fight with Bryce Mitchell, what's Bryce know about striking? Bryce is outstriking him 36-27, and it's nothing more than backpedaling with jabs, low kick, jab, low kick, run out of dodge. And you have John Silva that's very flat-footed, inching forward, looking to explode with a big combination. But in the meantime, until he does that, he's constantly getting out work, and he's having a good time, and he's trying to dap you up. And I fell into the trap as a historical Diego Lopez denier, that he was going to beat Diego Lopez. And the same thing happened in the Diego Lopez fight, is that the first round, Lopez is way taller than him, way longer than him, and he's just outworking him. He's using his range. He's using his kicks. He's just adding up these strikes where Silva's having a good time. Second round, Silva starts to turn it on. Now I'm rubbing my hands together. I'm about to make some money. He's hitting Lopez hard. He's backing him up. He's stinging him. But the non-ring IQ that this man possesses, and take that back to he's wired differently. He's an odd cat, is that he's not thinking this process through. He's so used to something working for him that I don't think he's able to make adjustments. And so the Diego Lopez fight, he's having success, and he just walks into a beautiful spinning. I mean, it happens. It's
basically matched the spinning elbow that he had been throwing at Lopez multiple times.
Cracked in the face. He's being over aggressive. The tide's turning in his favor, but he bites off a little too much. And it's not that I think he's going to walk into an Arnold Allen shot, although Arnold Allen absolutely can crack. It's more so that Arnold Allen is best when he's just slightly outworking you. Like, that's it. If you look at his fight with Max Holloway, he gets wiped, right? Well, he won one round on all three judges' scorecards, 5-rounder. He won 2 rounds on one of the judges' scorecards, getting outworked, but landing some decent shots. His fight with Movsar Evloev, he won a round on all 3 judges' scorecards, the 3rd round against Movsar Evloev. His cardio's not bad. He's got good striking. He trains at TriStar, so they give him good game plans of, similar to a Rose Namajunas, just do a little more than what your opponent's doing. And he's kind of good at that. And so with John Silva, if Silva's coming forward and, not really letting his hands go, and he's slightly getting outstruck 30-20, then those Silva strikes got to be huge. And Arnold's kind of defensively sound. He's gone the distance with good guys. He's going to have a quality game plan together. And all of a sudden, 2025 Cody has got Silva on the top line, and everybody else around him hits. And I got this idiot who I can't trust. I don't mind if Justin Gaethje fights like an idiot because he's plus money. I don't mind if a Derrick Lewis swings for the fences like an idiot because he's plus money. I don't want to back a 2-1 favorite in John Silva and have him fight like an idiot. He's one of these guys that's untrustworthy, and I'm paying a price for him. So I am going to stick with the play. I'm going to stick with the initial gut read, being that Allen doesn't really land these spectacular looking blows. He doesn't have a ton of power. He's coming off the win over Giga Chikadze, where he just doubles him up, but it's a low striking affair. Giga Chikadze is really, as we saw in his last fight, really not it anymore. And prior to that, Movsar Evloev, he's got the wrestling. Max Holloway's got the volume, and it's a 5-rounder. It's hard to fully get a good read of him, but this is just my mind. Silva gets knocked out by spinning back elbow. You go back to the gym. You assess. Where did you go wrong? You make improvements. He's still young. Maybe he fights a little bit smarter. Fighting Nerds, a gym known for putting together good game plans, maybe tightens this guy up a bit. And if I can just get a better version of him, he's inches away from beating Diego Lopez. and he walks into a spinning back elbow. Comes to breaks. That's the fight game. Make a few adjustments and come back. I think you beat Arnold Allen, but I don't feel great about top ticketing it anymore. So I'm going to see what other combinations we might be able to float together.
Yeah, I don't really love it on the money line either. I did take John Silva by KO plus 210. I know that Arnold Allen hasn't been knocked out, but going back watching that Diego Lopez fight, it's like that front kick was like untelegraphed and was landing multiple times. Like I feel like if he just was as you were kind of saying, if he was a little bit more patient, picked his spots, didn't charge in, you may be talking a different situation altogether. I mean, the fact that he got taken down was mounted and survived that entire onslaught there. Like, this guy's at least going to go out there and fight for your money. The problem is, he's slapping hands. He's doing dumb stuff, which do you really want to get overly invested? As, I see some places right now, it's like minus 300 for Jean Silva. Like you're going to be, if you have him real heavy in parlays and stuff as a quote unquote lock, like this thing can go pretty bad for you. But plus 210, I took a small shot on Silva by knockout. I don't know if I'm going to get to the money line for all the kind of the reasons that you laid out there. It's just I could totally see Allen getting takedowns, holding position, fighting a really boring kind of style, because who wants to stand in the pocket and trade with John Silva? I mean, if you do that, you're gonna, and trading at TriStar with for us, like they're not gonna watch the tape here and be like, what we should do is just hang out right like at like kicking range and just like exchange front kicks here. Like that's not gonna happen. I feel for Allen it's gonna be all the way in or all the way out. So I took a shot on John Silva by knockout, but I don't think I'm really going to get to the money line. He will be my pick for the purposes of this show. Cousin Umar is up next. He's taking on Deiveson Figueiredo, and you know me, I was pumping the Cousin Umar tires probably before most people, and I love the guy, but minus 1,500 on the money line. He's a former champion in Deiveson Figueiredo. I'm not saying that that Deiveson is at the level that he used to be. Obviously his best times were at 125 pounds. This is a bantamweight fight, everything like that. But minus 1,500, like I feel like Deiveson's getting very, very, very disrespected here. Now, what do I think more often than not happens? I think Cousin Umar gets to the wrestling. We've seen that with Deiveson over and over and over. If you can get him on his back, you can control him down there. Whether he gets a sub or this fight goes to decision, that remains to be seen. It's a straight up pass for me. I'm not taking the shot on Deiveson. If it gets really crazy on fight day, if it gets well over plus 1,000, I'm sure I'll have like some small little sprinkle on it that I'll add like right before the fight starts type of thing, because I'm a degenerate like that. But the number is just very jarring. Deiveson is getting super, super disrespected here. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm just going to attack it from like an over-under standpoint. If I get like over 2.5 or minus 180, Paul would be able to find a better on-market price than that.
I'll look at it right now.
Yeah, but like I think that I don't want to chase a minus 1,500 on Umar, and on the flip side of that with Deiveson Figueiredo, he doesn't do anything anymore. At 125, he's got colossal power, and he's got a nasty guillotine choke, man.
Minus 180 to the 2.5
is the best. Yeah, I mean, what's fight goes the distance might be a little bit of a better price, but at that point, you might as well just take Umar by decision.
Minus 150-ish.
Yeah, maybe you could take Umar by decision.
Umar decision.
What I don't love about that is I could see Umar maybe putting him away late, but you're just going to have to tire him out.
Minus 125, minus 109. I mean, I'd probably just take the over at that rate, just in case.
Yeah, exactly. Because trust me, the last 2.5 minutes is the greasiest part. So
And we have seen Umar get tired, right? Like, I mean, it was against Marab, but like we have
yeah.
seen him get tired as
If
the
he's
fight
gonna get
wears on.
knocked out, he's gonna get knocked out early. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think when you're looking at betting a minus 1,500, just let's spam it on parlays. What could go wrong? Well, I'll tell you what could go wrong is that Deiveson Figueiredo got knocked down by Mario Batista, and he got knocked down by Beksat Almacan. So I
Mhm.
understand. I understand Figgy is a little bit older, but like Figgy can still hit. If he lines you up, it ain't gonna be a good time. And then on top of that, what if he lines you up and you recover, but in the process of recovering, you shoot a sloppy takedown? He's got a really good guillotine choke as well. He was a massive flyweight, not a huge bantamweight, but he was a massive flyweight. But that's not it. Winning with a quick knockout or a quick submission, that was flyweight Figgy, not that guy anymore. I don't. I'm pretty sure you're on board, but like I cashed a pretty good Figgy ticket in his last fight, plus money over Montel Jackson.
I was on.
The entire breakdown there is that Montel doesn't do anything, and so Figgy, who also doesn't do anything, might be able to. You landed 10 strikes and I landed 10 strikes, but I mixed in a quick takedown. You landed 9 strikes, I landed 8 strikes, but the 8 I landed, one was an eye-catching right hand. That's all he did. He got outstruck 30-23. Won the fight 29-20, gave up the third round, tired out, ended up winning a split, and he did the bare minimum. Fight prior versus Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen won in the second round TKO, but to that point, he outstruck him 54-6. And Figgy had 2 takedowns. It's that he doesn't have the gas to get 2 takedowns and ground and pounding. He's not going to get 2 takedowns and then you get up and you get the third or a fourth one. He does not have the cardio at 135 to really push. And so with Umar, is he going to mix in a quick little takedown like he did against Montel? No, I don't think so. And is he going to outwork Umar? I really don't think so. Is he going to just catch him and knock him out? Again, I don't think so.
No.
But this has your absolute making of, hey, Paramount, I got to fight for you. It's Khabib's cousin. He's 19-1, and he's a former title challenger fighting a former UFC world champion. And this fight could suck. It could be an absolute stinker. Umar holds him down for a bit. Figgy dances around the outside. Umar thinks he's doing fine on the feet because nothing's happening and he's not getting hit. So he continues to do it, and it just becomes a bog. So the over 2.5, don't mind. The fight goes a distance where you get a little more trouble is that Figgy got a bad gas tank. So, and he might, if he's in it for the paycheck, he might not want to fight that full 15 minutes. So it's a tricky fight to bet simply because of the money line. Anybody that you were to talk to, hardcore fight fan, I don't care. If you were to talk to anybody and say, who do you have winning this fight? The answer is Umar. It's only when you introduce odds that you say, well, Umar's a minus 1,500 favorite, that you say, oh, well, in that case, Figgy wins 6% of the time. And no. Straight up, who wins this fight?
Well, even at 6%, he would be a bad bet at this time, at this point right now.
Yeah, crazy, right?
If you thought 1 out of 10, and we're still not even there, right? Like, I think Umar takes him down. I think Umar will control him. I think it'll be father's plan type of thing, because why just stand, at least early, it will be. Just why stand like until you've tired him out? Like, don't mess around too much on the feet, because that's probably Deiveson's main path to victory here. Yeah.
Figgy could still beat a scary Russian guy with an OV name, and he still will, but it'll be an ACA after the UFC releases him from his contract. He'd be good over there. He'd jump on the gas and fight somebody that's not Umar Nurmagomedov.
But probably at 145 pounds, because he won't even cut anymore.
Hey,
they like doing really that. Those guys jump from 125 to 145. Like, it's just like who is relatively close to weight and willing to fight next week. Like, that kind of happens a whole bunch over there.
Well, it's like Alex Pereira when he was fighting at middleweight. They're like, dude, how much do you cut? It's like 40 pounds. It's like, what? That's insane. He fights at 205. They're like, dude, what do you cut? 40 pounds. What do you mean? What do you mean 40 pounds? It's like, we're Brazilian, and they can pack it on, dude. So, yeah, I'm going Team Russia on this one. But again, the money line doesn't really make a ton of sense. It spins a little. Someone in the Discord, the Bookie Beatdown Discord, they mentioned, they were like, has a former UFC champion ever been this big of a plus money underdog in a UFC fight? And the answer is no. It's never happened before. So is it disrespect? I believe so, but it's kind of warranted, maybe a bit.
Maybe who was what's her name? The worst UFC champion of all time.
Nico Montano.
Yeah, what was her price against Shevchenko?
Wasn't that
she never actually fought. She never fought.
Yeah, I guess she pulled out, and then her career just fizzled
That's the
out,
only one.
never
That's
happened.
the level of disrespect, I suppose. But yeah, Figgy doesn't seem to be fully committed. At least if you look on his Instagram and stuff like that, it's just like he looks more like he's just like working out rather than getting into like fight shape, like rolling on the mats. Whereas like you see on Umar, it's like he's with his brother Usman, and they're putting in that grind every single day. So I understand why Umar's the favorite. I understand. I would think you'd probably be closer to like minus 700, minus 800 even. So I don't really think there's we're spending a lot of time talking about a fight that we're really not going to get heavily invested in, to be perfectly honest. The number has been made, so it's like it's probably pretty dog or pass, but time to just move on. I'm passive. I don't really want to just take the bait. I take the bait on plenty of stuff, but this next one, you probably heard Gabby came down because she knew we were about to talk about Ateba Gautier. He's taking on Andrey Pulayev. Best price on market BetOnline has right now. Other places are not reacting to how BetOnline is working right now. Minus 650 for Gautier, but he's more commonly like 850, 900 across the market. Pulayev, the comeback on him, plus 475. I mean, anybody who's watched the show for long enough probably knows where I'm going with this. So I'm not even going to bore. I'll come in at the end. I'll let you break this down first because it's pretty obvious where my heart is with Ateba Goat. Where are you at with this one?
Yeah, well, Ateba Gautier, it just comes down to, and I mentioned this earlier about Paddy Pimblett, is that there's certain guys that come down and it's all a product of hype, and it's up to you to decipher which one of these guys are you really into. Which one of these guys is Peyton Talbot? This is a bad bet against Ronnie Barcelos. How many of these guys are Peyton Talbot actually is good, and I'm going to stick with them. It's the fight game. Sometimes you go high up on a guy, sometimes you get a little bit low on a guy. My thing with Ateba Gautier is that I consider myself a believer. I consider myself that this guy's not a product of hype, is that he's every bit as advertised. And at 23 years old, he's still going to lose fights, and he's still going to have some room for error and make some improvements. But yeah, I'm a firm believer. You can make the comparison of him and Francis Ngannou because they're both heavy Cameroonian power punchers. Heavy Cameroonian power punchers could knock your lights out. They're physical. Okay, perfect. But Francis is a heavyweight, and this guy is only a middleweight. Okay, Francis is 6'4" with an 83-inch reach. Ateba Gautier is 6'4" with an 81-inch reach. So he's a physical specimen. Similar to Alex Pereira, how does he make 185? Your guess is as good as mine, but he can't make it. Extremely impressive.
He'll be a light heavyweight eventually, for sure.
For sure. And when you look at Francis randomly lost to a quote-unquote scrub in his second pro fight. So did Ateba Gautier. His second pro fight, he lost to Glenn Williams on a split decision. And both of them are on this path now that anything that's not a top 5 guy with a lot of tools in the tool bag is going to have to exchange with them, and they're going to get sat down. I believe in a lot of the things he's doing. And now I'm the first guy to also point out first round finish, what happens when you get extended. But in his case, when you look back to the Glenn Williams fight years ago, cardio is really not that bad. But more importantly, the Ura Nato fight on the Contender Series. Nato in the first round, he's got good judo, strong guy. He's like, I'm just going to try to out-grapple this guy and not exchange with him. The second round, Nato's gassed from trying to hold this massive man down and try to force him to the ground. Ateba don't look like he broke a sweat. He turns up the heat a little bit and he folds him over. Since then, Jose Medina, guy's got nothing but maybe some durability. Yeah, he lasted a round, didn't get out of the first round. Robert Valentin, he spent a lot of time in Thailand. He's a decent striker. He couldn't make it around. Tristan Vines, he's not exactly a world beater. However, he absolutely sparked him. A lot of people have sparked Vines. He's got a great chin, but it's the same thing. This is what you're supposed to do to these guys. So I want to pose you this question. Andrey Pulayev, he was in a somewhat competitive. I mean, Liam Anderson gave him a few looks on the Contender Series. Nick Klein won the first round. He was able to get him out. Does Liam Anderson get out of the first round versus Ateba Gautier? No. Does Nick Klein get out of the first round with Ateba Gautier?
No.
I'll admit he lost to Christian Leroy Duncan, and I rate that. And the fact that Duncan didn't want to strike with him, Duncan didn't want to strike with him. He was like, I respect this guy's southpaw stance. He's also long, rangy. He's got a nasty liver kick. Everything he sets up, straight left side kick. He's got nasty southpaw weapons, but he's got no grappling. He comes from Alexander Shlemenko's camp, which, if you know the story of Shlemenko, former Bellator champion, he's a hell of a striker. Loves the spinning techniques, loves the big rangy kicks, but he just had no grappling. That's what kind of caught up to him. Pulayev could be controlled up against the cage. And so his lack of grappling means that he's not likely going to enforce any type of grappling on Ateba Gautier. Instead, he's trying to set up kicks and try to set up that long southpaw weapon. And I don't know that striking for 15 minutes or less with the Gautier is going to work out long term. You can't say this kid's going to win a title tomorrow and this kid can fight the top three. Can he fight Sean Strickland tomorrow? Like maybe not, but he's got the intangibles that he can knock out anybody in the division. He's 23 years old and he's just a physical specimen. The UFC's got something special on their hands and they're going to build him up the proper way. This is a good fight. It's a guy that only really strikes. His game plan is going to strike, and he only throws the same two weapons. You're going to get a beat on him. Liam Anderson got like 6 minutes of control time up against the fence. Christian Leroy Duncan got a bunch of control time against the fence. Nick Klein took him down 4 times. This is a good chance for you to work on some of your grappling to show a different wrinkle of your game, but it all checks out. Now, if you're getting him at minus 850, minus 950, it's another one of these Umar Nurmagomedovs. Like, the money line doesn't make any sense, but does this guy knock guys out? Yes. And is that his probable win condition? Probably. And do you want to take a certain prop? Maybe that's the way of going about it. But for PRP purposes, yeah, I'm parlaying him up. And he is a better price than Umar Nurmagomedov, and I feel better about him than Umar Nurmagomedov. Maybe. I don't know. Umar's, I guess, fighting an old wash guy, and Ateba's really not. Kid's 28. He's from Russia. He's going to be a striking heavy style, but it's an excellent style clash that favors Gautier. And again, it's like I opened this bit with. Comes down to which one of these prospects do you think will actually, if you walk into a gym, you see a kid, you'll say, this kid might be able to be a Canadian champion. Or if you're from the States, this might be Pennsylvania state champion as an amateur. But will that guy, is he good enough to go pro? If he goes pro, is he good enough to win 5 pro fights? Is he good enough to win 10 pro fights? Yeah, this kid could go to the UFC and win 10 pro fights. That's solid. Can you win a fight in the UFC? Can you win 5 fights in the UFC? Can you win 10 fights in the UFC? There's always a limit. When you see Sage Northcutt, I like Sage Northcutt. He looks like a good prospect. He's physical. He's a lifelong martial artist. He's got a good little character. Turns out this guy's not going to win a world title. Not that I thought he was going to be a world champion. I thought he'd be a little bit better than he was, but what's their range? Every now and again, you get an Ateba Gautier or a Peyton Talbot. And in Paul's case, Paul's been good with this. He called Francis right off the hop. He called Habib right off the hop. He called McGregor right off the hop. One time he thought Justin Scoggins would make it all the way. So nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, Paul. But Ateba gives me those vibes. Not Scoggins. He gives me more so this guy's not just going to win 5 fights in the UFC or 10 fights. I think he could go all the way. He needs Chimaev to, 1, leave the division. But this is the beauty of it. He's 23 years old. 5 years from now, those guys that are hanging around right now, they're all gone. He's the future. This is just another step towards achieving that. So I don't love the money line, whatever. I hate paying huge numbers. But yeah, I am going to do it because I like this kid. I don't know how you feel. I think you feel the same way, but I'm picking him.
Yeah, he's going to kill him. To summarize everything into probably less than a minute here. I mean, go watch Andrey Pulayev, this Danya Bekov fight. It was only, I believe, in 2023, and that guy's a pretty big, like, he's a badass. Abnarbak. He fights in, what's the name of it? Gabby's clanking around a little bit behind me right now. She's getting all worked up for a Gauthier fight. It's probably because my heart's racing because I'm so excited. But she came down just specifically for this one. But, or the dog's barking. Oh, my God. But yeah, this Danya Bekov fight, I believe he fights for UAE Warriors. We've seen him on a bunch of that, and he's always like minus 10,000, whatever. Danya Bekov literally just backs up Pulayev, has no respect for him, and just clanks him on the head over and over and over. It's just like, I don't really see the type of striking, this type of power to get Ateba off of you. it's gonna have to you're gonna have great wrestling at this stage in his career. He's working on that type of stuff every single fight, and like this guy only started training when he was 19 years old. He's 4 years into training, so it's like that Glenn Williams fight that you talk about. It's like he was literally just like, probably trying on those gloves for the first time. You know what I mean?
20 amateur fights.
Exactly. So it's like every single fight we're going to see new wrinkles, and the level of athleticism that you see from him is kind of unmatched. Like the Francis Ngannou comparison is fair in the sense of like, I suppose, power. But like this guy's just like an elite athlete. If he was born in America, he'd be like a defensive end or like a linebacker or a top end wide receiver. Like we don't get too many of those people over here on in North America, because if you're that athletic, you end up in the NFL or you end up in the NBA. It's just like when you're growing up where he grew up, like none of these things seemed like an option. But like now you put him at Manchester top team, give him quality training, and he's been somebody's footing the bill to send him over to Abu Dhabi to train with like Puya Ramani, and like there's money behind this guy to make an absolute superhero, and it's all kind of coming around to plan. I'm on the under 1.5, which is chalky. It's like minus 200. I'm parlaying that thing up. Him round one, I think it's moving. I took a little bit of minus 106 last night. When it opened like last night, there were some other books that had, it's like minus 135, minus 115 best on market right now. I think he's going to kill him, man. I think he's just going to have to, like, can Pulayev run away? Because like that's what Tristan Vines did for the first like minute and a half. He ran away, and then once Ateba tracked him down, and that was a 170-pounder short notice. Like don't get me wrong, I didn't really respect that opponent, that situation, but once they actually had to come together, he dropped him with one shot, held up against the cage, drops a couple elbows, and it's just like the most outrageous like crumble you've ever seen. Like a couple small short range elbows against the cage, and he was folded. That Denny Abekov fight leads me to believe that like Andrey is not throwing enough back to earn respect. The fight against Nick Klein leads me to believe early on, it's like this guy can definitely get overwhelmed early. I think Gauthier is going to kill him. They're trying to build a star. They're doing a very good job of giving Gauthier the type of opponent that he's ready for at this stage. Give him a Russian. People will be like, oh, I can't believe he beat a Russian. This is not a Russian that has like elite grappling. We got to keep Ateba out of the way of these types of guys until they know, like they'll know in the background, they'll be like, okay, he's stuffing takedowns from so-and-so at Manchester top team. Like, let's give him a top 30 type of middleweight with a little bit of wrestling chops, because we don't think he stands a chance. If you go on to like those futures, sorry, I'm rambling on this. Obviously, I always get excited about Ateba Gauthier fighting, but if you go on to like the futures websites, and I don't know if that's because he's fighting this week. Maybe I don't know. I don't really have access to those sites all that much, but it's like Gauthier is not listed as like being a champion in 2026. Like the futures. Yeah. He's not even on the board listed for that. Now I think that's probably wise because Chimaev is probably not like what's the upside in fighting this guy, right?
But it's all about circumstance. So Chimaev says, I want to go to 205 to fight on the White House card versus Pereira. And that's what he's kind of talking about. He wants to fight Alex Pereira, and that ain't going to happen at 185. Them days are over for Alex. So he's going to have to go up to 205. Let's say now it opens up. Okay, well, who are the guys that we want to throw in there? Similar to Paddy Pimblett, they might throw the number 6 guy in there. And I'll be honest with you, Ateba Gauthier is 23. He should be fighting a title for at least 2 more years. But if they said,
I think next year he will fight for a title.
If he fought Khalil Roundtree, or that's 205, man, that's 205. At 185, if he fought Brandon Allen in a 5-round fight and he didn't get subbed in the first 2, He's live. Hernandez, that would be a terrible fight for him. But all the same, if Hernandez loses to Sean Strickland, or if Sean Strickland loses to this guy, or if Imavov
if he fights
comes up
Sean
short,
Strickland tomorrow, I think Gauthier
he's-
probably knocks him out.
well, Sean's whole thing is, I'm going to hit you 200 times, and you're only going to hit me 100.
And Sean never wrestles. He never wrestles. He just kind of lets his ego get to him. And I mean, it happened against Pereira, right? It's just like, go out there and try to wrestle him. And he did. So
the other thing is like Sean just kind of uses that physicality to just kind of impose on you. But there's the same thing with Pereira. It's like, oh my God, dude, how does this guy make this weight class? He's huge. It was the same thing with Ateba Gautier. Hate to throw it back to the Arnold Allen John Silva fight, but one of the reasons that we're gonna go ahead and go with Silva in the end is Silva versus Lopez. Silva's 5'7". Lopez is 5'11". So yeah, the rangy strikes work. Yeah, the leverage works. Yeah, you're constantly having to walk into punches because there's that discrepancy. But against Arnold Allen's 5'8" to his 5'7". The shots should land. Gautier at 6'4". There's nobody in the division that's really going to be able to have the physical prowess over him. And similar to a Michael Morales. Is Michael Morales the best guy of the division? Well, he's good and he's huge. That's his variable. Sean Brady's better on the ground, of course. If this is a grappling match, Sean Brady beats him. Yeah, Sean Brady can't get him there for no other reason than the guy's just absolutely giant of a man. He can win. Well, that's Gautier's 23, man. Again, when he's 25, 26, 27, probably does move up to 205, but his path to a championship at 205, the number 3 guy's Khalil Roundtree, the number 2 guy's a Yuri Prochazka. I think Carlos Ulberg, he's legit, but Dominic Reyes is ranked like number 5. You're telling me that Ateba can't move up to 205 and ice a guy like that? No, he can. And so again, maybe I'm overhyping him, but for this early stage of his career, I think he just racks them up. And this is
they're doing a great job of matching him up with the right things. Like I am sure as you said, like a Fluffy Hernandez, as long as if he doesn't clip Fluffy on that first exchange, it's going to be would probably be kind of like I hate to always bring it back to like Ngannou, but it'd be like when Ngannou took on Stipe the first time, and like the hype train was so over the top, and then it was an absolute wrestling clinic, right? It would be probably kind of like that. If he didn't clip him early, he'd probably get ragdolled. I don't think he's there yet. The guy started training 4 years ago, man. They're maturing him. They're doing a very good job of keeping him out of harm's way. He's gonna kill Andrey Pulayev. All right, we spent like 15 minutes talking about it, but 17 minutes talking about that fight.
We'll make up some time here.
I don't know what to do with this fight, which means probably nothing. We got Nikita Krylov taking on Modestas Bukauskas. Bukauskas a minus 143 favorite to come back on Krylov plus 123. I'd worry about Krylov's durability at this point. It doesn't have to do with the fact that he was knocked out 2 times in his last 2 fights. If you go back and watch like the Dom Reyes fight, and it's not even the finish that happens, but literally about less than a minute into the fight, he eats like a jab and starts like wobbling and stuff. Like I worry about the guy's durability. Now, Modestas Bukauskas is he's not like historically a huge power puncher by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe he's there to be wrestled. Maybe he's there to be taken control of. But I don't know. Krylov hasn't been very active recently, but like the guy's got over 40 professional fights, been knocked out a whole bunch of times. Sub by Paul Craig. Very prone to making very poor decisions. Whereas Bukauskas was a guy who was in the UFC. Khalil Roundtree absolutely ruined his knee. He had to go back to the regional scene. He had to rebuild, rebrand, rejig his entire situation. I believe he's over in the UK training full-time now. Probably changed his entire training situation around. The trajectory of these two guys' careers right now, I do tend to lean towards Bukauskas, but I'm a little bit hesitant because I think that his wrestling is still there to be exploited. And Krylov, if he fights smart, could get him down there. But Bukauskas is going to be the pick for me. What about you?
Yeah, I actually agree. So Modestas Bukauskas is very much a generalist, not really excel in any one department, but he can kind of do everything fairly well. He's long, 6'3", fights long, fights smart, doesn't have tons of volume, but is not low volume. Just kind of outworks you a little bit. Can he wrestle? Not really. But offensively, he's not really trying to take you down. Defensively, he stuffs enough takedowns to keep the fight upright. And if you are a bum, or you're a guy that's prone to make mistakes, he could just capitalize a little bit on these mistakes. He's in a 4-fight winning streak right now, which is crazy. But realistically, the Marcin Prachnio fight, he lost the first 2 rounds. So bad look, man. This is a bad look. In the 3rd round, he gets him down, subs him with an arm triangle. Why? Because Prachnio prone to making mistakes. But he capitalizes. His fight with Rafael Siqueira. Rafael Siqueira is obviously not good. But this is what you do to a guy that's not good. 2 minutes, first round, knocks him out. Not bad. Ion Cutelaba, again, I thought Cutelaba won the fight. Now, that might be that I had money on Cutelaba, but I honestly thought he won the fight. The thing is that Cutelaba tried to pace himself. Modestas, not a high output guy, does enough to keep it close. He lands a couple eye-catching shots. He ends up taking the split decision. And then that last fight, Paul Craig kind of washed. Doesn't do much anymore. That at the end of the first round, series of elbows. Yeah, just Modestas can give you rounds. Now, when you think, okay, well, what's his durability like? Oh, okay, well, Khalil blew his knee out with a crazy sidekick, which strangely enough, it's a Kyokushin karate move, and Nikita Krylov is a Kyokushin karate black belt, but you never cap a fight saying, one guy's going to sidekick and blow the other guy's knee out. That's not, I ain't banking on that. Like Krylov usually does, he's a first-round guy. If he can beat you in the first round, sure. If he gets out of the first round, this guy's going to have a lot of problems on his hand. And that's where I think that it's going to be a little bit more troublesome to get Bukauskas out of there. He's a veteran at this point. He doesn't really put himself in a whole lot of bad spots. He's got enough power to hurt Krylov. He's got enough defensive abilities to maybe stay out of harm's way for that first round, get it to the second, get it to the third, and then eventually pull forward on this thing. So I'm going to edge him out. With Krylov, it's very much a question of, is he done? And he's 33 years old. It's not really done by the numbers, but, Paul mentioned it.
2-year layoff, and he's come back from that layoff looking horrible. That's really, is he the guy who took Volkan Oezdemir down 7 times? Because that guy wins this fight. But that was over 3 years ago. And he took this 2-year break for, I don't know, is he partaking in the war effort over in Ukraine? I have no idea what he's been up to.
Well, so that's actually the conspiracy part of it, which we're going to get into right now, Paul, is that, one, as you mentioned, Krylov's got 41 pro fights, right? Which is pretty crazy. But most of those fights are not even documented. He came from the Ukrainian regional scene. Yep. Do you think that they kept extensive notes on all of his fights? So probably got a lot more than that. When you look at his just Tapology record, is that he fought on August 10th, 2012. Then he fought again on August 16th, just 6 days later. Then he fought again on August 18th, just 2 days after that. Then he fought again on August 26th, just 8 more days after that. Well, essentially, he fought 5 times in the month of August, back in 2012. So, I think his body is beaten down. He's been knocked out. He's been injured. He used to fight at heavyweight. You remember back in the day, this guy's fighting Walt Harris and shit at heavyweight. Come down to 205. These weight cuts are tough. He's cutting 30, 40 pounds. Pulele. Well, he was 265. He was cutting 265.
That's a name I haven't said in God.
Yeah, but it's good to get it out. It's good to get it out because Pulele could die someday and be people will still talk about me. That's leaving a legacy, even though Pulele's legacy goes to the Hulk hands and big dude. Anyways, to talk Krylov is that even though he's only 33, I think he's washed. To talk about tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, though, Paul's right. His 2022 version, 10 years after he starts his career against Volkan Oezdemir, that's the way. Knocks out Gustafsson. Then he fights Volkan, where he takes him down 7 times and wins a decision. Beautiful. Beats Ryan Spann. First round triangle choke. It's Spann, but that's a nice little win. Then the war breaks out between Russia and Ukraine, and he takes all of 2024 off. He does not compete once, all of 2024. And whereas the common thinking here would be Vasyl Lomachenko joined the army, and sorry, his name's escaping me. Amasov, just signed with the UFC recently, choked out Neil Magny. He's fighting in the army. The Klitschko brothers did a little bit of stuff. Like, yeah, maybe Nikita Krylov went back. Yeah, that's not what happened at all.
He's like a Russian apologist.
He denounced his Ukrainian national, and he's like repping the Russian flag. He trains in Russia. He's pro-Russia. He might have been doing some Russian army stuff. I don't know. But then he comes back in 2025, full year off, no longer Ukrainian. Yeah, he's winless. He's 0-2, knocked out in the first round of both of his fights since he did that. So I just feel like he's done. I don't know if it's a training thing, if it's a lifestyle thing. Well, you mentioned with Reyes. Reyes pops him with a jab and he stanky legs, and it's like, oh man, but he's been off a year. He's not been punched in the face. He's supposed to be fresh. And then 2 minutes in, he kind of rushes forward. And this is a 40-fight veteran who doesn't angle off. Like he blitzes forward on a straight line. Like, oh, what are you doing? But it's ring rust. He's been off. Comes right again against Bogdan. And there's a fight I did back him in. I had Reyes in the Reyes fight. But I did back Krylov against Bogdan because it's just like you said earlier. The Volkan Oezdemir fight, 7 takedowns. You mean to tell me a guy that Billy Ellicana took down and held his back for 3 minutes is gonna stuff the takedowns of Krylov? Like, no. Yeah. But in that fight, it's like he's not interested in shooting takedowns. He's not interested in moving around. He's not interested in fighting 3 rounds. He's going to do what he always does, which is blitz you hard in the first. The problem is that he doesn't got the durability anymore to blitz you without getting hit in return.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. We talked about guys that Ateba Gautier could beat if he moved up a weight class. Krylov would be one of them. Here's a guy with 20 fights in the UFC who's fought a lot of top guys, a lot of guys that went on to fight for a title. Fought Jan Blachowicz, fought them all. Fought Glover as well, didn't he? Guy's been there. They did fight Glover. He's been there. He's done that. The thing is that he's at a stage in his career where this guy who's 10 years younger than him hits a lot harder is going to topple him over. Modestas doesn't have a ton of power, but enough to beat this version. His wrestling's not great, but enough to stuff more takedowns than not against this version. And really his cardio and his ringmanship, kind of his best things. That's enough to edge this one out. So Krylov just looked like such a shell. Is it possible that he reinvents himself? Maybe. But the old saying is you can't teach an old dog new tricks. This guy's not old age-wise. He's got a lot of fight mileage. He's not getting any better. He's not going to change something that he's doing. It's what he is. It's what he's become. And I don't think that it's going to work out here. So although he's always live because of what he does, diminished results is not something I'm looking to back. So I got Modestas.
All right. Moving on down. We've got Alex Perez taking on Charles Johnson. Minus 170 for Johnson. The comeback on Perez plus 145. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, the universe is a mysterious thing, right? Some people, they're not good people, and then they have these good things happen to them. And some people are good people and have bad things happen to them. Some people are really lucky. Some people are perennially unlucky people. Can't shake it. Some say that they're cursed. Alex Perez fits that. He may be cursed. There is nobody in the division as good as this guy. That's a stretch, but he's a top 5 guy all day long. He can do it all. We're talking Modestas. Bukauskas is a generalist. He's generally good. Now, no, Perez is good everywhere. His striking is good. His leg kicks are nasty. This fight with Shorty Torres, he knocked Shorty Torres out in 3.5 minutes into the first. He landed 83 significant strikes. Significant, not total. 83 significant in 3.5 minutes. He can throw volume. He can strike. His wrestling, guy's a former college wrestler. His jiu-jitsu, he's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. He's got it all. He's just the most unlucky guy ever. And there's been a lot of injuries, and there's been a lot of layoffs. But he's forced to take a UFC title fight on 3 or 4 days' notice against Figgy. Gets caught in an early guillotine. It's just bad luck. 6 fights pull out. Takes a 1.5 years off. Comes back against Alexander Pantoja. What a comeback fight. Gets submitted. After that, his fight with Muhammad Makayev. He's winning the fight. Gasses out in the third. Loses a really close decision. His fight with Tatsuya Taira. Wins the first round. Taira jumps on his back in the second. His knee blows out. His fight with Asu Almabayev. He's probably up 2-0 in the third round. He shoots himself straight into a guillotine choke. Right off the hop. 22 seconds in. Like he's capable of hanging with all of the best guys. He's got the skills to be competitive with all the best guys. His body's not holding up. He makes one small mistake, and it just constantly is his demise. And that's the thing with Charles Johnson. How do you beat him? Take him down. Perez is not, he's a good wrestler. He doesn't have the cardio to shoot 10 takedowns. He doesn't have the cardio to keep up with 15 takedowns if need be, 15 takedown attempts. Charles Johnson get-up game is real good. So if Perez's game plan is take Johnson down, Johnson's get-up game is constantly going to have to make him shoot and reshoot. And they're looking at damage now more than control time. So him getting up, punching you 2-3 times in the face, you press him up against the cage, he slaps you 3 more times in the face, you hit him with a single leg, he pops back up, repeat the process. He's winning. The longer we do this, the more you're going to slow. The more you slow, the more Johnson's going to start putting hands on you. Johnson, of course, for a flyweight, he's got a knockout win over Lonier Kavanaugh in his last fight. He's got a knockout win over the current champ, Josh Van. So he hits sufficiently hard to knock out Perez. He's got more volume that he could just outwork Perez. It really comes down to, can Perez just keep up this wrestling game going for 15 minutes? And no, he really can't. When you look at the early portion of Johnson's career, it's like, oh man, Cody Durden took him down 11 times. Rafael Estevam 3 times, 9 minutes of control time. Cody Durden, 9 minutes of control time. Makayev, 9 minutes of control time. Since then, the only guys that have taken him down is like Jake Hadley for 30 seconds. Azat Moxham took him down twice on 5 attempts, got 2 minutes. Josh Van took him down once for 20 seconds. Like he doesn't.
Wrestling's made massive improvements.
Massive improvement. So he's got a speed advantage. He's got a striking advantage. He's got a cardio advantage. He's just, I think the first round will be very competitive. Maybe it's a good live betting spot. The second round, Johnson's starting to land the better shots visually, and he's winning the round. By the end of the second, Johnson might knock him out. By the third, Johnson might knock him out. If Johnson does not knock him out, I still think he's going to win the second and the third. Mm-hmm. So, Perez years ago, better cardio, all that. Maybe that guy can keep up the pace a little bit more. Maybe that guy can win 2 of the 3 rounds and stay out of harm's way. But one, he's just an unlucky human being. He's not able to avoid trouble in the third round. He's not able to. The Makayev fight, it's again, he gasses. It's a lot of wrestling. He gasses. It's not going to be good. And then the last thing I'll say is that if you look at the Shorty Torres fight, he lands a ton of volume. Outside of that fight, he's low on volume now. Mm-hmm. Asu, he lands 40. Tyra, he had landed 41, albeit it's halfway through the second. Nicolau, he knocks him out halfway through the second, but it's 28. Makayev, 30. Johnson's just going to eclipse that. He hits a little harder, and he hits more often. That's a recipe for disaster unless you can take him down. The longer this thing goes, that's going to be a lot more difficult to do. So Johnson's no spring chicken. Like, he's also 34 years old at flyweight. It's a little bit older, but the mileage, the injuries, it's energy Johnson for me. So I got Charlie to get it done.
Yeah, surprisingly, there's been like a pretty big market move overnight. Like Johnson was like minus 200, and now he's minus 170. So people are playing the Alex Perez game, and I mean,
he's dangerous. It's flyweight.
If he wins, good on you. But like, I can't play the game. I've lost a bunch of money betting this guy, and it's just
he's unlucky.
Stupid mistakes, low volume, doesn't really stick to a game plan. He's a bit of a generalist all the way around. Whereas Charles Johnson, I see somebody who, as we were kind of talking about there, is like the improvements in his route. Like the path was so easy. It's like, this guy can't stop a takedown. Now he's shooting his own takedowns. Like, it's very clear that he's made massive improvements. And I mean, third round knockout win over the current champion Joshua Van is aging like a fine wine at this point as well. If
he wins this, he could be in line for a title fight. If they run back Pantoja, sure. But if Van wins, there's a great storyline there. They'll probably run back
Pantoja, I think.
If Pantoja wins, they either do the Van trilogy or you're looking for somebody else. But the fact that you knocked out a guy who then got an immediate title fight as the number 5 or 6 guy in the division and happened to win, you're right there. The other thing with Van is I thought he got robbed in that Tamarov fight. I just thought he won. I don't know. It's flyweight. I get it's close. Let's say he gets that decision instead. That would put him on a 7-fight winning streak. Or he'd be on a 6-fight winning streak going into this one. A shitty decision goes against him. Does that set him back that much? He's right there. Losing to Alex Perez is going to set you back. Winning against Alex Perez is putting you right there. So, at 34, the money fights haven't happened yet for Charles Johnson, but they're knocking on the door. And comes in good shape, ready to go. And I expect him to do exactly that, be motivated for it. It's an excellent spot for him. So it sounds like we agree there.
Yeah. Moving on down, we got and like Charles Johnson by knockout isn't too bad of a look. I don't think it's like plus 500 or up. I would take probably. I mean, he did it.
See it.
I could see it. And I don't even know if it would necessarily have to be a quote unquote, an absolute one hitter quitter type of knockout. It could just be that Perez gets injured at some point and then it's ruled a TKO. That's my mindset on that. Yeah, it's like plus 571 in some spots, plus 550. There's been a little bit of action came in on the plus 550 at Bet Online. So
if you hit him and he tweaks his knee, it's a TKO win, baby. He falls over holding 100%. His knee, it's a TKO.
Exactly. He tweaks his knee. That's in play with a guy who's one made bad decisions, two had lots of different issues over the years in Alex Perez. So that's where my mind's at there. But I actually like Charles Johnson on the money line too. I think he just doubles them up probably on strikes. Maybe round one's a little bit dicey. It could be a better live betting situation, but we're not running a live stream during the fights. So to tell people, now's the time to do it. It's always an easy little cop out to say, I'm going to bet it live. I think at minus 170 right now, even where it was at like minus 200, I think Charles Johnson was a pretty easy side for me to pick. This next one, challenging type of fight to break down because we see two guys that very Jekyll and Hyde fight to fight. You don't necessarily always know what to expect, but we've seen a whole big sample, and the only thing that we know about their sample is they're just inconsistency is the only consistent. Michael Johnson taking on Alexander Hernandez, minus 150 for Hernandez. The comeback on Michael Johnson, plus 130. Michael Johnson's 39 years old at this point. I think I saw some Instagram footage of him like training with that Amzar Hamzayev, who's like rising the ranks in LFA. No doubt about it. Obviously in South Florida they've got a ton of skilled kids coming in and out of those gyms every single week. Guys that you've never even heard of, but you will find out about in the next year. Those guys are obviously always in play as well. Great performance by Michael Johnson last time out there against
Daniel Zellhuber. It was good.
Zellhuber. I was going to say the Mexican, which is like Gabby's sitting on my lap, so I'm a little bit distracted. Took a little bit of time to load that up. Great performance from him. Came through as a big underdog. Wrestling has always been a bit of a question mark for him. And I don't know if the durability is always elite. The boxing is super, super solid, even at this stage in his career. Alexander Hernandez, on the other hand, like he's kind of taking that Yusuf Zalal type of style. If you look at his last two fights, it's all the way out, circling, waiting for you to come in, make a mistake, and he'll counter. Or he's all the way in and he's getting on your hips and getting takedowns. Training condition for Alexander Hernandez, like him, Roy Val, Zalal, I believe they all kind of moved and did their own thing. They went to their own gym, I believe, and they train together now. I kind of like that for him. The last two fights, I think he's looked pretty solid. Because of a little bit of wrestling upside, the side would be Hernandez for me, but I actually don't mind an under 2.5 at like plus 125 in this fight. I think both guys have paths to getting a finish, knocking out their opponent. Where are you at with this fight, Cody?
It's a very difficult fight to get a read on simply because it's an Alexander Hernandez fight. And Alexander Hernandez is and always will be one of the biggest case studies for just like, your mental prowess, your ability to bite down. He's a confidence-based fighter through and through. He's confident and he's feeling himself. This guy's got some legitimate skills. He knocks out Beneil Dariush in less than a minute. And he looks like he beats Olivier Aubé-Mercier. It's like his second fight in the UFC. This guy is very talented. And then he talks himself into false confidence. I got to hype myself up. Talks himself into a beatdown from Donald Cerrone. Mm-hmm. That kind of defined him after that. Now, I will say, lose to Donald Cerrone, it happens. Gets knocked out by Drew Dober. I like Drew Dober. Thiago Moises is good. Renato Moicano, no problem there. Moicano is also good. Losses to Billy Q, Bill Algeo, Damon Jackson. Oh, he's done. Yeah, done you're never going to crack the top 15. You're never going to be a title challenger. And then since then, he did leave
4-fight win streak has been good.
It's on a 4-fight winning streak. But when you really break it down, he wins a split decision over Austin Hubbard. And it was warranted. I thought he won. I thought this is not a good look that you were held to a split against Austin Hubbard. The very next fight, he gets outstruck by Kurt Holobaugh, 71-59. 1-1 going into the third round. He spammed 4 takedowns in the third and looked awful. Wins a decision. Also not impressive. Chase Hooper. Knocking out Chase Hooper is very impressive, and this is a good win. But Chase was outstriking him in the first round. Like you mentioned, he hangs all the way out, and he moves his feet. And Hooper's really not known for his striking, although he can strike a little bit. Is moving forward, and he's putting some hands on Hernandez. Hernandez is returning fire with that right hand, and they're bigger shots than what Hooper's landing. But again, at the time of the knockout, 2 seconds left in the first round, Hooper, by the numbers, is actually outlanding him, and in a pure striking affair. So although he wins by first round knockout, not that impressive. But that last fight with Carlos Diego Ferreira, it's just smart game planning. Come to me, and then when you get to me, I'm only going to throw a handful of punches, but they're going to be hard. I'm going to sit down on them. And knocking out Carlos, winning the first round and then knocking him out in the second, I rock with that. Knocking out Hooper, 2 seconds left in the first round, can't take that away from a guy. That the 4-fight winning streak is now against Austin Hubbard. He probably felt like shit against himself. He's coming off back-to-back losses to Bill Algeo and Damon Jackson. He's thinking, I might have to get a new job. I might have to go sit at a desk and not that there's anything wrong with any type of job, but his dream is to fight in a cage, and I'm going to have to settle for something less than that, which is done. His fight against Kurt Holobaugh, I'm coming off a split decision win over Austin Hubbard. I still might have to find a new job in the very near future. Then I knock out Chase Hooper, and I get a little bit of money. And I knock out Carlos Diego Ferreira, and I get a little bit of money. And I got a very winnable fight against a 39-year-old Michael Johnson, which would put me on a 5-fight winning streak. This is it. Now he's feeling good. And when he's feeling good, I had him over Hubbard. I had him over Holobaugh, and I said never again. So I faded him against Chase Hooper, lost a bag. Faded him against Carlos Diego Ferreira, lost a bag. I want to jump on the Hernandez bandwagon. I want to get some of that money back. Okay, you're back. I'm in. He's his biggest enemy. It's not the guy he's fighting in the cage. He's kind of fighting himself. And because I'm not in his mind, I don't know. Is he feeling confident? If he's feeling confident, he's going to catch Michael Johnson. Johnson's not been knocked out in a while, but common opponent, Carlos Diego Ferreira. Johnson's 39, and he's been knocked out a bunch. And as Paul mentioned, he's sparring with the top prospect in Killcliff. He's been fighting the top prospects in the gym for a decade at Black Zillions and Killcliff. And what were the many other names? Black
Zillions. Did you say that?
Yeah, they had so many. Yeah, Combat something.
Combat Club.
Hard Knock 365.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Jacko Hybrid Training Center.
Oh, yeah.
But Johnson is the one consistent. Michael Johnson and Gilbert Burns are like the two things that have remained. And the fact that Johnson's on a 3-fight winning streak of his own and has reinvented himself is also super interesting. But it's so hard to figure out one way or another. Hernandez, you mentioned the takedown threat. He's good, maybe. I don't think he will. And the volume goes towards Johnson. The power goes towards Hernandez. Hernandez has got enough power to knock out Johnson. Johnson's got enough volume to just outwork Hernandez. And Johnson's best thing about that last fight with Daniel Zellhuber is that he jumped out to a quick start, banked the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Third round, he didn't have to engage this guy all that much. Third round's way closer. It doesn't matter. Bank 2. With Hernandez, Hooper almost outworked that first round on him. A guy like Austin Hubbard steals around over him. A guy like, lesser quality guys, let's say, I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but Kurt Holobaugh outworks you in the second round and beats you. That there's no doubt about it that Johnson's still classy enough to get off to a hot start now. And you're sitting on your corner in your stool, and it's going into round 3, and your corner says you might be down 2 rounds. That's when that mental thing. You're not, I'm down 2 rounds, I get this knockout. You're down 2 rounds. I'm gonna lose. You start to feel down. I don't know. I'm not trying to harp on anybody. It's that it's a very intriguing matchup that my head tells me take Hernandez, right? He's 5 years younger. He's six years younger. He's on a 4-fight winning streak. He's coming off a really nice win over Carlos Diego Ferreira, and he's putting all the parts back together. Let's give him another try. The other part of me has got, Michael Johnson's plus money, and this is a It's a winnable fight for him. So why not try to chase that plus money? But I got caught chasing a little bit of plus money in 2025 that I didn't love, but it was, well, I only have one underdog on the card, so I need to add a second one. And by that mentality, I would take Johnson. But I'm trying to start this year off by taking who's going to win more often than not. And I'm jumping back on Team Hernandez. So if he loses, it's entirely my fault. The universe does not want me to win money on this guy.
I'm blaming you. I'm blaming you.
Blame me. It's not like I've never won a bet on him, but when I do win money on him, he's a minus 375 favorite, and he wins a split decision. That's how I win money on the guy. I don't win money on this guy easy. When I bet against him, I get smoked. I get knocked out. It kills me. But that's my bid on that one. So I go Hernandez, but I can see where this one could blow up in my face for sure.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Josh Hokit taking on Denzel Freeman. Hokit minus 215 favorite to come back on. Luke, what's his nickname?
Luke Fox.
Luke Fox.
I don't know why, but the wrestling, I get it.
I think it was his wrestling name, right?
But why would you pick Luke Fox? Didn't give him something more original, like
plus 185. Tricky one, because like you're looking at, early in their run heavyweights. So it's like a lot of the opponents that they've taken on pretty low level. Now it's like this would be for like if this was still like this is a LFA title fight, right?
Agreed.
At this point. So Hokit has been running through guys. That Max Jimenez guy, interestingly, in that fight, Jimenez landed a couple leg kicks right off the hop that, like, you could tell Hokit does not like this whatsoever. He's fast. He's only like 236 pounds, and like he used to be a middleweight in wrestling. Obviously, Bo Nickel absolutely mollywopped him, but I mean, Bo Nickel mollywopped pretty much everybody back then. But interestingly, he's like got like 185 pounds, right? So it's like Hokit is kind of just, put on this type of weight as time has went on. I don't know. It helps that he's like a smaller guy because he's like a lot faster than these guys. But is he going to be able to hold down someone like Freeman? Is he going to be able to absolutely dominate and body a guy like Freeman? Hokit did show, last time out there that he can get it done with the hands as well. Jimenez had some BJJ that he was able to, make it so that Hokit wasn't so interested in taking him to the ground. I have big questions that, like, if he is able to get him done, like, you'll see Denzel Freeman in his fight against where Hugo kind of took him down for like half a second, but like he pops right back up. And obviously, this guy has like a Greco-Roman background at like near Olympic level. I don't think he's going to be so easy to take down. The performance against Bulyo, it's kind of ugly, but like he showed that he can win fights, whether he won cleanly or not, in multiple different ways. He literally just fought at range and they struck it out. But he's got some pretty crafty kicks. I don't know if Hokit can take him down. We don't really know what happens to Hokit if he really gets extended into fights, if he can go a full 15. I know you just had like the speech of like, I'm going to try to pick winners and not, find value. For me, I think it's like low-level heavyweight dog or pass type of situation here. Freeman coming off of a pretty ugly performance where he got his hand raised, but I just see more pieces of the puzzle right now. He hasn't been finished. I think he's the better striker. I think he could, if he's smart, lean on those leg kicks that Hokit showed against Jimenez that he really, really doesn't like. And an over 1.5, which is a relatively chalky, but it's like neither one of these guys have been finished. Neither one of these guys have been really all that hurt that bad. I know it's heavyweight, but like I think it's minus 200-ish to the over 1.5. That's where most of my money's going in. But like a Freeman by decision, if you wanted to get real greasy on this, is where my mind's at on Hokit versus Freeman. Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm actually going with a little bit of the over and fight goes the distance and that kind of nature
That's
because
what I went to. Yeah.
yeah, I really do think that it's a fight that ends up just being a heavyweight slog. It is slow moving, and it's just a bad style clash is the main thing. With Josh Hokit, it's like, oh, this guy's really exciting, and he goes, and he action packed, and he's a quick finisher, and he talks crazy nonsense on the microphone. There's a couple things wrong with that theory right there, right? So thing number one is that yeah, he's a two-time D1 All-American. This guy finished fifth in the nation at the championship. He can wrestle for sure. But yeah, against Denzel Freeman, well, Denzel Freeman he's a junior college wrestler, but he also wrestled in the Navy or for the Army, I think. Army or Navy. And then he makes up the world team. Yeah, military, sorry. And then he ends up on the world team for Greco-Roman. I wouldn't consider him near Olympic level, but he was on a US national team for Greco-Roman. He's wrestled in multiple different countries. And the thing with Greco-Roman is they're not shooting on the legs. He's not a freestyle wrestler like Josh Hokit. It's all like upper body throws. And so those guys in particular, they're really tough to take down. You try to bull them and they dig the underhook and they press you up against the cage. It's all upper body strength. The other problem is that Hokit, Paul mentioned this, he comes in at like 235, right? Where his opponent comes in at 260, 265. So there's not only can I also wrestle and stuff your takedowns, I am naturally 25 pounds bigger. Yeah, he's 34 years old, but here's a guy that he got recruited by the WWE and was given a developmental deal, hence the whole Luke Fox thing, right? Because he's a great athlete. So, yeah, why could this guy who's a good athlete and a good wrestler not just simply keep this fight standing? If he does keep this fight standing, Hulk's really not showing a whole lot of strength. He knocked out Max
He got
Jimenez
some power in the hands, but
because
it was reckless power.
Yeah, it's reckless, and that all leads me to maybe he's going to gas himself out. Is that Denzel Freeman's never been finished? Denzel Freeman, maybe if he can take a punch and he can fight for 15 minutes, then trying to knock him out in the first round is not going to go well. Now in the second, you're tired, and when you're tired, you can't take him down, and now he's ever so slightly outworking you. The other weird thing with Freeman is we all know about his wrestling, and yet in his debut against Merrick Budio, he never even shot one takedown, not zero. He never even tried to take the fight to the ground. He just was content sitting there and throwing strikes. So if he's cool with going through the motions, then it might be a bad first round for him. But in the second round, the third round, Hokit could be his own worst enemy. I'm a Hokit fan, being that his brother's a fighter. He was a walk-on for San Francisco 49ers, played in the NFL a little bit, practice squad guy for a little bit in the NFL. He's a good athlete. And him moving up a few weight classes, I don't care about that. You talk about he's a former 185er in college, right? If you look at Denzel Freeman's got an amateur loss because he was what 4-1 as an amateur. He's got an amateur loss to Johnny Eblin. Johnny Eblin fights currently at 185 pounds. Fair. So when you're a big guy, I don't think it really matters. I don't think Freeman's anything special. His striking, he doesn't got big power. His wrestling, is not good enough to take down Hokit. This really comes down to can Hokit fight for 15 minutes, and if he can, we're going to hit some props on it there, but it's hard to have that confidence. But I'm going to admit, bit of a coward's move. Don't fault you for chasing the value. I fully understand this is a bad style clash. I fully understand this is a bad money line on Hokit. I am still taking Hokit. The reason for me personally being that, yeah, Hokit's only 28 years old, man. You talk about he was trying to play in the NFL a handful of years ago. So similar to an Ateba Gautier, he's very young for the divisional standard, and that he has no real prior experience. He just wrestled. Now you're seeing him throw punches. Now you're seeing him fight potentially into a later round. But I bet him in the contender series against this Guilherme Uriel. And in the first round, Hokit shot like 10 takedowns. Oh, man, he was shooting lots of takedowns. And at the end of the first round, it kind of looked like, oh, Hokit's going to gas. You can't sustain this pace. And then the second round started, and Uriel couldn't keep up the pace. Hokit seemed fine. He just kept doing what I was doing in the first round. The difference was now my guy's not getting up. My guy's not shucking off the takedown. My guy's not trying to fight his way back to the feet. He broke him on sheer pressure, finished him 2 minutes into the second, or a minute into the second. It seemed to me like maybe this guy is a type of, he's a walk-on at Fresno State. Walk-on to the football team, okay? Gets no NFL, doesn't get drafted to the NFL, and then is a walk-on signing for the San Francisco 49ers. The guy's a hell of an athlete, man.
Mhm.
And maybe there's a good chance here if he comes out against Denzel Freeman, who's looking to do the bare minimum and go through the motion. He might put it on you. Our boy Pulayev, right? You watch that grappling match versus Denzel Freeman. Freeman does get taken down. He didn't get up, So Hokit might be able to do something here. Bottom line,
I mean, 90% of my money is invested in the over 1.5. That's where I'm at on this.
I know something crazy too. Freeman wins that debut against Bulyo, right? And then immediately the UFC cuts Bulyo. It was his debut.
Did they cut him? I didn't even notice.
Oh yeah, I saw a thing for it. I hope I'm not making that up. I 100% saw a thing he got cut. I'm pretty sure they cut him. I'm gonna look it up. But point being, they were like, "Damn, that fight was so bad that we're gonna go ahead and cut this guy right now." But Freeman won the fight, so he's owed one more fight. Well, let's throw him in there against Hokit. He's 34. He looked awful in his debut. Let's go ahead and throw him in against Josh Hokit. The only thing that could possibly go wrong, and we can move on from this fight, the only thing that could possibly go wrong is Hokit likes fighting immigrants. That's why his last 2 fights against Brazilians, he goes all crazy nutso. Now he's fighting a true blue American. The guy was in the army, and he represented the U.S. on the national team. Hard to hate a guy like that, right? So Hokit comes in with a little more respect. Maybe it doesn't make him any good. But that's just, a half joke. I will go ahead with Hokit, although I realize it's not.
You bring up a good point. Hokit will be less motivated in this fight because Denzel, not only is he an American, he's a proud service card carrying member of the military.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say he's more American than Hokit.
Hokit's a bandana. He's got a bandana, but you're not wrong. Denzel Freeman is actually, represented.
He's a greater American than Josh Hokit.
You're right. But Hokit is a 2-time All-American. So, I mean, it's built right in. And I will say, Bulyo did get cut. But according to him, I remember the interview now. According to him, they were like, when can you fight again in the UFC? And he's like, I hurt my ankle. Let me fight first quarter, near the end of the first quarter of the year. And they offered him a fight like right away. And he was like, I can't. My ankle's hurt. And they're like, buddy, we don't even want you. And they cut him. They cut him because they said, you don't want to take this fight. You're 0-1. You looked awful. Worst fight on the card. Everyone complained about it. We're offering you a chance to take a short notice opportunity to do us a favor. You're declining it. You're done. So I don't know that win for Freeman in his debut is anything to write home about. But hey, listen, we got a fight on our hands. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
All right, we got Ricky Turcios taking on Cameron Smotherman. Smotherman, a -182 favorite to come back on Turcios, +157. I think, conventional wisdom in this fight would say like Turcios probably is going to try to close distance, hold up against the cage, get takedowns. Is that going to work against Cam Smotherman? I mean, I think that's what that kid's been working on most of his fights. Numbers actually steamed quite a bit. A couple of days ago, I was adding the over 2.5 in this fight when it was like -200, -225 even. Now it's like -280. I mean, I still think we've got Cam Smotherman fighting a guy with, I want to be positively racist, but like Turcios, for all the things that he lacks in his game, guy can take a punch. Guy's pretty durable. So that's kind of how I was approaching it. Smotherman is going to be the pick for me, and that's kind of just hoping that like he's worked on that takedown defense. I think he's the better striker. He's going to have the more impactful strikes, but like that wrestling is there to get exploited. I just don't think Turcios, if he does get him to the mat, really has the jits to finish the job here. But Surrey City was able to take down Smotherman. It's not a great look. So it's like I prefer just taking this on the over 2.5. Fight goes to decision, as opposed to really taking a side for betting. I felt like that on a bunch of fights this week, but we'll find out if the results follow with that. I was pretty similar on the previous fight with Hokit versus Freeman as well. Total interests me more than a side, but people are here to pick sides. and I'll pick Smotherman for the purposes of the show. Your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I've kind of danced around in a circle on this one. And there's a good point for Smotherman. His boxing's much better. You know, he's a little upright. He's got a good jab. He comes forward. His boxing better. Ricky's boxing's trash, but his kicks are not bad. He's mostly kick-oriented. He runs around the outside of the cage, and it's a lot of kicks. Volume-wise, they're both capable of putting up good numbers, but Turcios landed 100-plus a couple times. You know, wrestling, Turcios only shows a 20% takedown accuracy, but Smotherman really can't wrestle at all. There's a good chance either guy can go out there and implement his game plan. And I know I did mention to you that I was going to stop getting away from this. I need to chase a little bit of value here and there and get a couple underdogs, but kind of think Ricky Turcios might be able to pull this thing off. First and foremost, like Paul said, the guy's got a cast iron chin. So he takes Smotherman's best shots and rolls with it. We're good. We're going to make it to 15 minutes. If I'm betting a plus money underdog and I know I can at least make it to decision, then there's a good chance it's a bad decision and I win it always. So not bad. The other thing is it really does come down to volume. When you look at Smotherman, he's so worried about getting taken down that the Ricky Simón fight, he puts up 29. Series City, he put up 58. Against Jake Hadley, he's free to just tee off. Hadley's not really trying to take him down that much. He lands 96. That is what's considered high for him. Ricky, meanwhile, averages just under 5 significant strikes landed per minute, but against Boston Salmon, against Brady Heastan, he puts up 100. His last time out against Bernardo Sopai, the guy's constantly trying to take him down and control him a little bit. He still puts up 78. His cardio in that fight, because he lost the first 2 rounds to Sopai, wins the third. Cardio looks good. Durability looks good. Trained at Team Alpha Male for almost a decade. Can wrestle a little bit. Interesting to note as well, against Brady Heastan, who's a good wrestler, he took him down twice on like 5 attempts. Against Kevin Natividad, he only shot a few. Against Amin Zahabi, he shot 5. Against Raul Rosas Jr., he shoots 0. But he won the first round against Rosas on all 3 cards. The total strikes, he doubled him up in total strikes in the first round. Second round, he gets caught in a submission, but I think it's the first time he's ever been subbed. This guy's durable, and he's capable of winning spots in rounds. Against Bernardo Sopai, again, it's a close enough decision against a guy that's not terrible. Smotherman's got everything you'd like in a guy. He stands upright. He's got good boxing. He's fun to watch, but his takedown defense has been a problem ever since his career started. You want to go watch him lose all of his regional show fights? They all come the exact same way. Him getting taken down. His fight on the Contender Series got knocked down in a minute against Sean Bellos Grigoriou. Not a great look. The fight against Series City, Paul brought up the 5 takedowns over a guy who has no wrestling base, over a guy who has, on paper, less cardio and less wrestling than Ricky Turcios. Took him down 5 times. Ricky Simón, I was admirable that Ricky only got 3 of the 10 takedowns, but Ricky's holding him up against the cage, and Smotherman's talking to him like, man, you're boring. Stop holding me. Stop holding me. At one point, Ricky said to him, you're under arrest. And Smotherman later told Ricky Simón, you're a racist, that you said that to me during the fight. You're under arrest as you're holding me down. What the hell? But then Ricky says at the press conference, he's like, I didn't even think about race. I was saying you're under arrest like, buddy, I got you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I've basically put you in handcuffs, and you're sitting here looking up at me being like, hey, man, get off of me. Because there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I thought Smotherman had a good third round. Won the third round all day against Ricky. It's the first 2 rounds, he's not doing anything. The problem with Ricky Turcios is that he's not going to tire after 2 rounds. His best round's likely his third. So it's not enough to be like, I hope he has a fun fight with me. He's going to be dancing around, long range kicks, shoot. And his last fight, he had never shot more than 5 takedowns in a fight. His last fight against Bernardo, he shot 9. All that did was wear him down. If he shoots 9 against Smotherman and he only gets 1, same numbers, only get 1 of the 9. It's not so much I'm going to win this fight because of my control time. I'm going to win this fight because in the shooting of the 9 takedowns, it's going to cause Smotherman to be like, oh, when's he going to shoot? I'm going to be able to outwork him volume-wise. Land 110 to his 85 and maybe squeak it out. I started off the week thinking I got Smotherman. Next day I got Ricky. This morning I'm thinking I like Smotherman. But the grand scheme of things is there's underdogs that are going to come through. And Ricky at this number. You mentioned the line moved. I think that was part of it. I was in with Smotherman at minus 165.
No, the total moved.
The total.
I still think there's still value on the over 2.5, but
I think the total, just like you said, is the way to go. Smotherman, although he got knocked out by Shambarlos Kangoryu on the Contender Series, he's not chinny, doesn't have durability issues. Is that he's a high volume, not huge knockout, high volume, get taken down, controlled. Ricky's high volume or get taken down and controlled. They're going to have a scrap. It's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining.
It's going to be in the judges' hands to get whatever right in a fight that could, like, a dog play on Ricky isn't crazy, man. So, like, you're not going to get a fight from me on that. Anyway, finally, we got Ty Miller taking on Adam Fugitt. Ty Miller, minus 425 favorite to come back on Fugitt, plus 355. Your thoughts?
So this is a card that has a lot of big favorites, and then which one of these guys do you trust? So when it comes to Ty Miller, this little devil pops up, and he's just like, man, let's load up on Ty Miller. He's our guy this week. And then on the other side, the little devil pops up, and he says, it's the first fight of the night, Saf. What's the worst that can happen? He loses. You still got 13 more to rebuild. You still got 12 more coming. It's like, shit, they're right. I'll probably load up on Ty Miller. And if he wins right off the rip, I'm sitting good on this card. Because the realistic nature is Ty Miller, even though he's a minus 400 favorite, is that's going to present a little bit of value. You know, who are the other big favorites? Oh, Hokit, we just talked about it. There's a lot of danger there. He's minus 250. And Charles Johnson, I actually really like Alex Perez. He's minus 200. Ateba Gautier, we like him, but he's a minus 1,000. Umar's a minus 1,500. Natalia Silva.
650's gone. The 650 on Ateba's going.
Oh, yeah, it's going
It's going to move, but the fact that they sat there at minus 650 for multiple days, it was very strange. Like, it's going to be the minus 1,000 that you see at all these other places. I was kind of surprised.
Well, especially once weigh-ins rolls around and you see this guy go.
Yeah, they're both the same height, but like, you're going to be like, oh, well, if both of these guys were in a bar, you know.
Yeah, 100%. If both these guys were in a bar, one of them would be the bouncer, kicking the other guy out and beating the whole drag.
Yeah.
I get it. The point being of the favorites, Natalia Silva's a minus 440 favorite. A guy like Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Well, there's danger there, right? I mean, we got a guy here in Derrick Lewis that hits very sufficiently hard. And it's minus 325 price tag. The price on Paddy Pimblett, if you're a Paddy guy, does minus 230 does that sound like a great price tag? So there's a lot of things that you can debate, but for Ty Miller is my guy. He's the Phoenix. He's the rebirth of the one great Tim the Dirty Bird Means. He reminds me of him so much, man. They're obviously both Tom Vaughn guys out of Fit NHB in New Mexico, but yeah,
Golden
6'2".
boxing.
77-inch reach, Golden Gloves boxing, 8-0 as an amateur. I think he's currently 6-0 or 6-0 as a pro. He's so long. He's very tricky with his setups. Fit NHB is known for Tom the Dirty Bird Tim Means, sorry. But Ray Borg was out of that camp. Nico Montano was out of that camp. They can grapple sufficiently good. This guy, he's got a kid. He's highly motivated. He's still young. I really like what I see out of him. And what Jimmy Drago was a good prospect as well. I like Jimmy Drago. And I really like Ty Miller more. So they fight in the Contender Series. And for the first 2 rounds, it's a masterclass performance. From the third, this is nice. It's nice that someone can get him into a third. So you can see, is he going to fall apart? Is he going to slow down the pace? Is he going to start making mistakes? This is a good building block for a young fighter. And I thought he did everything right. You look at his career, if you're a glosser, if you just gloss things over, it's like, bro, his pro career to this point is a 0-1. He beat a 0-1, a 1-0, a 1-0, a 3-3, a 4-2, a no contest, and he's on Contender Series. There's not enough there. That's okay, but his second pro fight, he beats Eric Nolan, right? Well, Eric Nolan currently fights in the UFC and is the CFFC champion. Gave Turcios a pretty good go for the first round. Right? So that's not your average 1-0. The guy's currently fighting on the UFC roster. Manny Morales. That guy's 1-0. Manny Morales is currently 6-2 and considered a pretty decent prospect. He didn't take no shortcuts, man. This guy fought a bunch. He's been around. I think he's one of these guys. When we talk about Ateba Gautier, Ateba could be a champ. I don't think Ty Miller can be a UFC champion. I think Ty Miller can be a top 10 guy, top 15 guy. He could be like a Tim Means, where he hangs around that bottom 15, top 10, and give guys very good fights. That's him. Currently, he's 25 years old. So can a guy expose him? Can a savvy veteran expose him? Yes. Is Adam Fugitt a savvy veteran? Yeah, but you wouldn't know it. You don't fight like one. 37 years old, got almost 20 pro fights, but he tends to make a lot of mistakes. His durability is definitely called into question. No one's going to fault him for losing to Islam Dulatov, Mike Malott, and Michael Morales. Nope, nobody. It's the thing that here's a guy that wrestled a little bit in high school, but he attended a junior college for like a couple months. I wouldn't consider him a college wrestler. BJJ, he's been doing BJJ for 14 years. So he's a black belt. No, he's a brown belt. Striking, he's got like 30 amateur Muay Thai fights. So he's a good Muay Thai fighter. Could he fight Muay Thai in a one championship undercard? It's like zero chance. No. So what does he do well? Well, he's a good litmus test. It's a good way to how we can gauge what a good prospect looks like. Michael Morales turned out to be really good. Well, he knocked him out. Mike Malott turned out to be real good. He dropped him, then choked him out. Islam Dulatov, I don't think he's really good, but he's good enough that he knocks him out. But to take the narrative off the table, just watch the Dulatov fight. Dulatov fights long. He's one of these, I'm going to find the hole in the armor, I'm going to snipe, and he's got long, straight punches. You see the way Fugitt stands. He's got this Muay Thai stance. He's like, shoulders are square to you. He's looking to react. But when you're young and fast, by the time he reacts, he's already been stiffed. That's what's going to happen with Ty Miller. Now, I know, again, by the numbers, he's just as tall as Ty Miller. He's also 6'2", and I think he's got 1 inch less in the reach department. But it's how
they're matching. Yeah, same reach.
Height, same reach.
Higher. Ty Miller's taller. Reach is the same, but the note I did make is that Miller like uses every bit of his reach. Like his jab is like extended all the way out. Like he uses that reach much differently than what you see with Fugitt.
And with the Dirty Bird, it would be like it's a straight left because he's southpaw as well. They fight same stance. Southpaw, right? Straight left down the middle, but then there's a head kick behind it, and then I step in with an elbow, and then I throw a shuffle uppercut. You can tie 3, 4, 5 good strikes together. And that's going to be the kryptonite here for a guy like Adam Fugitt, that he'll sometimes block or evade the first 2. It's 3, 4, and 5. You catch him on the end of something and you put him over. So again, he's not had a ton of success in the UFC. They're keeping him around to be a good little test for some of these guys that they're looking to build up. And I just don't know that he comes in here and puts his best foot forward. The takedowns would be his best path, but he's not really a wrestler at heart. And against Ty Miller, you take him down, he's going to create some space, get back up, and start landing in close. Knees in the clinch, elbows in the clinch. Use all 8 weapons at your disposal. So I'm going to load up on Ty Miller. And if he loses, then I have to move to plan B. The second plan B value guy is what? John Silva? I don't feel good about that one. There's another good value play in Charles Johnson. Just moved 30 points in the last few hours. So what am I not seeing? So this card is very action-packed. It's very exciting. There's a lot of guys we're looking forward to, but not the most straightforward offering, albeit I am feeling good about it. I'm an optimistic person. None of these guys are pure write-offs. They've got 0 chance of winning, right?
Mm-hmm. I bet Ty Miller by knockout. I think Fugitt's going to try to close the pocket, actually probably try to hold up against the cage, maybe get some takedowns. I just don't think he really has the pieces to do that. I think as Miller's kind of like, even though he's only 25, it's like he really takes his time. He makes you kind of rush into him because he knows his long-range weapons will intercept you. I like him quite a bit in this fight. Money line, obviously, more likely. But I think Fugitt's like the shot that he took against Mike Malott wasn't anything all that crazy that kind of dropped him before he got submitted. I really call him, and then the fight against Dulatov too. It's like he kind of dropped like a sack of potatoes. He had an injury back in February. I'm sure he's back to full health at this point, but I don't know. Something about his durability kind of strikes me the wrong way. So Miller by KO, Miller money line. I mean, it's not too enticing, but he'll make some tickets as well. All right, we are just about out of time, but before we go, hit him with the PRP.
First PRP of the year, officially for UFC. Again, if you want LFA PRPs, if you want to do any of the regional stuff, we're over on the Bookie Beatdown, Patreon, and Discord. But first UFC PRP. What better way could we go out than making some money and hitting this bad boy? So I'm going to go with Justin Gaethje at the top. Yeah, he's one of my few underdogs. Again, you could rearrange this with Paddy Pimblett at the top, being that if the PRP was intact, you're going to want to hedge this thing in. It'd be easier to hedge out on the plus money underdog Justin Gaethje, but for me, I'm just going to take him off the hop. He is my pre-fight pick. I'm going to go Gaethje, Sean O'Malley, Waldo, Cortes-Acosta, Natalia Silva, Gene Silva, Umar Nurmagomedov, Ateba Gautier, Modestas Bukauskas, Charles Johnson, Alexander Hernandez, Josh Hokit, Ricky Turcios, dog number 2, Ty Miller. There's a couple dogs under there that Paul and I mentioned. You could swing it the other way. You could maybe take a shot on a Derrick Lewis. You could take a shot on a Michael Johnson, or dare I say a Denzel Freeman. Those guys are all in action underdogs. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and lock in the 2, Ricky Turcios, and the one I like maybe a little bit more than Turcios, Justin Gaethje, and kind of hope for the best. But sometimes less is more. So if you can just identify the 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that you like the most and have those 5 guys come through, it'll still be a good night, even if you don't get every single one right. But it's 2026. It's a fresh year. And again, I'm feeling good. So let's hit all of them and hit a PRP. What better way to start the year, right?
Yeah. I feel like this, from a numbers perspective, like these odds have been out for like 6 weeks. They've been picked apart, everything like that. It's not like an Apex show where like certain fights drop the week of, certain props drop, props drop literally the week of the fight. It's like things have been picked apart a lot more because people need their fix. They need to hop on the quote unquote value as they saw it over the last 6 weeks. So I think inherently, like, favorites are probably more likely to run pretty good on this card, but we will only find out. It's all just, it's all a bunch of talk until they actually step in the cage. But it's good to have the UFC back. Looking forward to Saturday night's action, and obviously another pay-per-view. I mean, are they pay-per-views anymore? It's all another numbered event.
Canada, there's still pay-per-views.
There's still pay-per-views, but like another numbered event, I suppose, out for the Americans watching next week. So keep the good times rolling. Anyway, that's it for us this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. For Cody, I'm Paul saying goodbye and good luck.